Hey everyone, welcome back for another 1/6 scale unboxing and review. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the biggest and baddest in the Marvel Universe, the Mad Titan, Thanos. We've seen Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, so it's only right that we unbox their most recent main nemesis. And I've been waiting for this one for quite a while, and I'm eager to get into it. So let's kick this one off by taking a closer look at the box. So one of the first things you probably notice is how huge this box is. It takes up most of my desk, and that's because Thanos is a big figure. He's probably the biggest figure in my collection, and probably will be like that for quite a while. But getting into the actual box art, we have this nice large side portrait of Thanos in his battle armor, and of course it's blended in with the Avengers A logo. Now Thanos is surrounded by the cosmos and what looks like that snapped death dust disintegrating. It's a really cool effect. Both sides of the box has Thanos' name as well as a little infinity gauntlet at the top and the Avengers A logo at the bottom. The top and bottom have some more wording, and of course on the back you're going to have all of your trademarks and warnings. So now if we actually slide this outer cover off the inner box, which is no easy task because of how big it is, we will reveal Thanos in his clam tray inside the box. Now, you can tell he's super gigantic, and I'm pretty excited to get him out. So let's do that right now. Let's get all the accessories laid out on the table, and we'll take a closer look at everything inside. So laying out on the table, we have all of Thanos' accessories that are included in the box. And I know you might be thinking that this is pretty slim compared to a lot of the other Marvel Hot Toys figures, but I'm pretty content with what they've provided. What I want to do is just go through each one of these items individually, one by one, and we'll just start off with the blade. Now, taking a look at Thanos' double-sided sword, I really did not expect this to be that big. I mean, I should have because I knew how big Thanos was, but I was pretty shocked when I pulled this out and I was like, wow, this is pretty huge. And it's really lightweight. It doesn't weigh that much, which is going to be great for when Thanos is holding it so it doesn't put any unneeded pressure on his joints. And looking at the design, it just looks so cool. I love how shiny and metallic the plastic looks. I love the wavy design on the inside of the metal. It just looks really, really, really good. The only one criticism that I would have is I wish this middle section could open up or break apart. That way it'd be easier for you to get it into Thanos' hands. But you know, besides that, this is just one amazing looking sword. Now moving on to the hands, Hot Toys provided 4 sets of sculpted hands. One set is a pair of closed fists that are attached to Thanos out of the box. The second set is a slightly closed fist for holding different items. Then you have a pair of grasping hands. And then lastly, a set of relaxed hands. These hands are very well crafted. I really like the way they're sculpted and how they painted them. They definitely get the job done. Next, let's take a look at the head sculpt and helmet. I really love that they gave us another head sculpt with this angry expression. And I just love the details on this. I mean, look at it. Look at the teeth, how shiny they are, the gums, the wrinkles, the glossiness of the eyes, the nostrils. I mean, this is really good. Obviously, it looks like the CGI Thanos that you see in the movies, but I mean, just from a head sculpt perspective, this is really well crafted. Now for the helmet looks really cool. You can see it has a lot of weathering for the battle damage, and it really fits on just perfectly. You would think that maybe it would be too tight or too loose, but they really made it just right. It doesn't feel like you're scratching up any paint or you're really forcing anything on. It just nicely slides on, and it's going to look really good on the figure. Hot Toys did provide a nice large base. You can see it has the Avengers A logo and it's disintegrating, all that death dust. I love it. And it's got that purple color scheme that just matches Thanos. You have Thanos' name on the front plate. And then, of course, they provided this crotch grabber, which has a little bit of extra support back here. Probably going to need it because Thanos is obviously a huge boy. So here we have the Infinity Gauntlet, and you get 2 versions. You have one that's just a sculpted closed fist, and then you have one that has some articulation in the fingers. So if you wanted to, you could get that snapping gesture in there. or at least, the best you can do. Now, I know some of you are going to be saying that this isn't the gauntlet that's used in Endgame, and you'd be correct. That is Iron Man's red gauntlet. But there is a scene, in the beginning where they ambush Thanos when he's making some breakfast, and he has the destroyed gold gauntlet. But either way, this can substitute for the Infinity War gauntlet, and it'll still look cool in your display. And I'm pretty happy that they added them. Now, there is a light up feature. If you just remove this piece right here, you can see that there's a switch and some batteries. And boy, I hate putting those small little batteries in. I have the hardest time getting those in. They're always shooting across the room, and I'm having to search for them, try to pop them back in. But when you get them in there, you can just flip this switch, and you'll get some lighting. Now, the stone in the middle, obviously, that's the most bright of all of them. The other ones look pretty dim, which is a little unfortunate. But you can pop this one off, and you can put the hand that has articulation on it, and that'll also light up. But either way, I really love that they added these Infinity Gauntlets. They look really good. And I know there's other Marvel figures that you can get that'll have the red nano gauntlet that you could attach to this Thanos if you really wanted to. Here we have Thanos standing tall straight out of the box, and man, this figure looks so sick. He's just so imposing with his battle armor and giant size, truly a deadly foe for the Avengers and a unique looking 1/6 scale figure. But what I want to do now is dive closer into his body and outfit. Now for a closer look at the outfit, I really like how they designed this armor, giving it a lot of depth and making it look like it actually fits around the body. It's not clunky, it's form-fitting, and that's really awesome. You can also see there's a ton of different weathering or battle damage to the different areas of the armor, and I know they have an actual battle damage Thanos now, but this figure has a decent amount of damage, and if it was my only version, I'm more than happy with how this guy looks. I also enjoy how the armor has a nice shiny gold metallic look, which is complemented by the black sections throughout this outfit. Now, another really cool feature is the shoulder pad piece. Now, this can easily just come right off and is held to the arm by a magnet inside it. This allows you to move the arm without worrying about scuffing up the paint. But for the little bicep armor piece, this can move around, so just be aware of that when you're posing him. Now the front and back of the waist have these long rubber-like pieces that covers up a nice soft black material underneath this little undersuit. And the legs are broken up into two sections at the knee. Both sections can move to aid in posing. And lastly, you probably already noticed, but the arms are seamless, which is pretty awesome. It just adds to that realistic look, or as realistic as a CGI person could look. But I'm interested to see how the material will hold up in the long term. Hopefully, I won't have any issues. Now let's get into the articulation, see how movable this big guy is. Starting off with the head, you get some up action, some down movement, a little bit of side to side, and some swivel. Unfortunately, a lot of the movement's going to be restricted because of this big old thick armor neck piece, but still good enough movement that you can get some unique poses. Now for both arms, they are on ratchets and they can extend to about 45 degrees. Now if you decide you want to take off this little armor piece up here, you can get that baby stretching a little bit farther. It's going to have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, though that looks pretty unsightly, but it's not that big of a deal. And then you're going to have your regular ball joint for the hand. I'll just pop that back on. Now for the waist is restricted by the armor. This little rubbery material gives a little bit of extra movement, but you have a little bit to the front and back, some side to side, and a tiny bit of swivel. This is one of my biggest complaints because it's pretty loose. I mean, you can just tell if I'm holding the upper part and wiggling the bottom, you can see that it's very wobbly. So I don't know, when you're posing this figure, if that's going to cause any issues, but just be aware of that. That's one of the unfortunate parts. Now for the legs, there is a little bit of swivel at the upper thigh. You can extend these legs probably to about 45 degrees, maybe a little bit more. I'm not going to really put the pressure on, but you can stress test it if you want. There is a bend, 90-degree bend at the knee, and then the foot actually has pretty good movement. You can have some side to side, forward and back, and then there's a little articulation with the end of it next to the toes. So that's pretty cool. So I thought it'd be interesting to just do a size comparison with Thanos and a regular sized 1/6 scale figure. There's my Captain America, and you can see he's quite big, quite taller than Cap is. But I also thought it'd be interesting if I tried to put my smallest 1/6 scale figure with my biggest 1/6 scale figure. So let me grab him real quick. And here we have Tyrion Lannister right in front of giant Thanos. So there you can see he's a pretty short guy, but especially compared to Thanos, he looks like a little child. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So wrapping up this video, I'm going to throw Thanos into a few different poses and just give my final thoughts, what I like, dislike. But ultimately, this is an incredible figure. I had a lot of fun unboxing this Thanos. There were a few issues. I wish that the gauntlet would have been a little bit more lit up with these stones. I think the light was pretty dull, but that's not that big of an issue. It was pretty tricky to get the blade into his closed or almost closed fist. If they could have maybe made the blade, detached so you can slide through, that would have been very beneficial. And the shaky waist, just not the best when it comes to having that upper body pressure onto the legs. Hopefully that's not going to be any sort of an issue, but and there's just so much to love about this figure. They did so many things right. I love the way the armor was crafted and how it just fits so well on Thanos's body. I love all the accessories that they added, the magnetic shoulder pad pieces. This Thanos is going to look so amazing in your display case. Whether you decide to have the Infinity War or the battle damage Thanos, I still think that this in-game Thanos is pretty freaking sick, and I'm super happy about it. So that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining in and watching another unboxing. I'm going to have more videos posted soon. I know I don't have a typical schedule, and I apologize for that. I just kind of do this when I have the spare time. But it is a passion. I do have some more videos going to be coming in the future, so stay tuned for that. But like always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.